Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Now today I'm down in Stairfoot in Barnsley. Now you're going to be thinking, what am I doing stood in some vegetation? Now I'm actually on the site, or the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley Railway. Now the Hull and Barnsley Railway, as you know, opened in 1885 to serve coal between the Alexandria docks in Hull, and obviously the closest it ever got to Barnsley was here in Stairfoot, pretty much where I am now. So went a little bit further down that way, and pretty much, you know, the Hull and Barnsley had its branches. You know, I started part one from Cudworth towards Sandybridge Lane in Shafton.
If we take a look at Rail Map Online, you can see the orange line indicating the 66-mile route of the Hull and Barnsley Railway. Now in part one, we'll cover the section of the Cudworth branch between the old Cudworth station on towards Sandybridge Lane in Shafton. In part two, we're going to take a look at the Stairfoot branch, which branched off from the Cudworth South Junction on towards Stairfoot, the closest to Barnsley the Hull and Barnsley reached.
Now over there we'll be looking at the track bed there where the Hull and Barnsley had a sidings. And down there you would have had the new begging colliery. Now just through here is the main, well, was the main Great Central line between Mexborough and Barnsley. So this would have been site of the Stairfoot old station. Now I'm not going to bore you with any history on here because we've already done a video of that. So this is the Great Central line that headed down towards Mexborough, and then up here you've got Barnsley. So our focus is going to be the Hull and Barnsley. Now Stairfoot was obviously known for a melee of lines that were around here. Now I looked at a picture of around here a couple of years ago, which Johnny from Wetdogs Explorers showed me when I first met him, and I looked at the picture and I was like, what? It was pretty much just a spaghetti of lines. So I'm going to show a picture of how the lines used to work. And behind me up here you would have had a viaduct that actually crossed over the top of here, which carried the Chapeltown loop line from Cudworth towards Monkspring Junction on the main line. Now our focus now is the Hull and Barnsley. So what we're going to do now is head from Stairfoot, from this side of the old station, on towards Cudworth. Now you can see up here you've got the remains of a bridge, or what carried the Hull and Barnsley from over here down towards where it met its end. Here's a close look at the bridge that carried the Hull and Barnsley across here. Would have gone on to, I believe, an embankment. Now this road at one point would have never existed. There is a picture of a retaining wall that would have been here. I did post it in a previous video when I did a mixture of the lines coming from Cudworth. So the retaining wall would have come around here. This road wouldn't have existed at all. So the grass you can just see over there is the Hull and Barnsley Railway. This bridge here is what we can see of the Great Central line that goes up towards Barnsley, that went down towards Mexborough. And just behind those trees, just up there, you had about the site of the Stairfoot North Junction. So more on them lines later on. So what we're going to do now is walk up onto the track bed. So here we are, pretty much walking on the site of two former railways. So on this blade of grass here, you've got the Hull and Barnsley line. And then just if you take a look behind me, at a higher level, you would have had what the Chapeltown loop line that went from Monkspring Junction on towards Cudworth. Now, this is the track bed here of the Hull and Barnsley. You can see it's clearly now just a field. And you can see how the ground raises. That retaining wall would have been located just here. Now, the main purpose of the Hull and Barnsley was to transport coal from the South Yorkshire coalfield on towards the Alexandria docks. Did mention it opened in 1885 and it closed in around 1967. Well, this section anyway. So in previous videos, as you'll have seen, we did the Barnsley Coal Railway. Now just behind that line of trees there is where the Stairfoot North Junction would have gone. The Barnsley Coal Railway going up towards Nossal, which I did in a 5-part series. Please do check that one out. And then slightly to the east you would have had the Houghton main colliery that went on towards where the location of ASOS is now. So that would have been the Houghton main colliery. That's one for another day. Check out Wetdogs' video on that one. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. So this is looking back to where we've been. So the Hull and Barnsley obviously came over this way, And then up there you have the Chapeltown Loop line. Now that circle round at a higher level on towards Ardsley Tunnel. We have done a video on the Ardsley Tunnel. Please do check that one out. I will leave a link in the description below. So here we are, walking along the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley. Now, majority of the track bed on towards, well, Burton Lane is now a converted cycle path. So you can see here, there has been a bit of reclamation work where the track bed has been converted into this pathway and it goes onto a higher level. There are some relics on the way that we have come across, so I'll point those out when we get there. So here we are further down the line, so pretty much walking into woodland. So finding our first piece of railway memorabilia, we've got here an old fence post where you can see we've got some cable tensioners just on there. There's no cables remaining. That looks like it's been there for a very long time. The Hull and Barnsley Stairfoot branch was roughly about 4 miles. Come across another cable, well, a fence post here, a concrete fence post. There's no tension on it unless there's one at the back. No, I can't see one, but it's actually covered in ivy. Now if you watch a video that I did at the start of last year, we pretty much actually covered some of this section of line because we was obviously started on the Chapeltown Loop, which actually connected to this in around 1967. But I'm not going to bore you with that because obviously I've done that video, but I will leave a link to that if you want to see more. But I will show you this cable post that we've found here. So you've got a lot of tensioners still just on the back. Now if you remember that video, we did go down there and we had a look under this farmer's access bridge. But I will let you have a look at that in another video. Through the trees here you can see we've got a rotted out telegraph pole. Now again, myself and Johnny, we came across this telegraph pole and just down there you can see the top of it. So we actually, in the Midland Railway video, we found the insulator that connected to the top. Do check that video out. I think the insulators have gone by the looks of it, because it was about 2 years ago since we last came. So we are currently on an embankment. You can see how steep it is just down there. Now it looks like you've got some kind of pipe flowing. I'm not sure what that thing is there. I'm not going down there because it's quite steep. Anyway, we're going to head on, see what we'll come across. Now this is the track bed here of the Hull and Barnsley. Now it diverts through these trees here. Now it looks like it's quite easy to get confused and believe that this was the Hull and Barnsley. However, back in 1967 the Chapeltown Loop line closed. Now British Rail then connected a cord at the northern end that connected here with the Hull and Barnsley. So it bypassed Ardsley Tunnel. So Ardsley Tunnel is just further down that way. That's another video to look out for, what me and Johnny actually went and explored. So down there you've got the southern end of Ardsley Tunnel. So this is the, well, that's the Chapeltown Loop. So that's the British Rail line that connected here with the Hull and Barnsley. This is the track bed here where it would have come out. I'm following now onto this converted cycle path. So now we're onto the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley on towards Cudworth. So we're coming to a series of bridges that headed towards location of a sewage works. So we're pretty much on an embankment. Again, you can clearly see the conversion of the cycleway. The track bed would have been much wider, I guess, if it wasn't for this vegetation. But we're coming towards another bridge. Now I'm not sure if these were the original colours of the bridge. I'm guessing that they were an original colour before being repainted, but you can tell that they are the original steelwork because you can see the riveted steel as we have a look at it. And the sewage works is around here because you can smell it. It absolutely reeks. Got some original brickwork over here. Now I'm not sure what this actually is. I'm gonna have to be careful because I'm walking behind a bridge here. But there is like a lake, so you can see that this bridge has seen better days. Looks like there would have been copings on the top here, but you can see where they've all gone missing. So that's a view of the River Dearne. Now if you remember the Midland Railway Part 2 video that I did, this river would have gone on towards where the Sunnybank Viaduct or Ardsley Viaducts. Now you can't really see in the distance because of the trees, but we did do a video on the Sunnybank Viaduct. Now there's the River Dern that followed through and went towards it. Anyway, we're going to head on now, continue and see what we can come across. Just headed off a footpath just off the side of the track bed, and here we have a look at the Hull and Barnsley from the outside. So typical Hull and Barnsley fashion with the brick, you can always tell the Hull and Barnsley. But there you can see the bridge. Now if it isn't original, please do let me know, but I do believe it is the original, but it's been painted. There is a footpath that heads underneath it, but if we can get a good view of it, you can see those buttress walls just on the corner. Look at that, nice structure. Now it looks like we've got some drainage just underneath here, because you can see where there's some pipes under. There's a few that have got some missing. Now I'm not sure if you can see them. I haven't brought my torch with me, but there is, I believe there is a drainage or some sort of drainage that come through those pipes. Looks like up there you can see potential damage where there would have been, looks like there might have been copings, or it looks like actually it's brick that's loose. I'll just do a zoom in so that you can see. So that footpath diverted through here. We're now going to walk up this footpath back onto the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley Railway. So that's looking back to where we've just been. Those three bridges were just down that way. So now we're going to make our way on. Now I don't know if you can just make out in the distance over there, you can actually see the Sunnybank Viaduct or Ardsley Viaduct. I'll zoom it in so you can see a clearer shot, but do take a look at that video. So we're on to Lund Lane. Now the track looks like it went off an embankment, and I believe it would have been a bridge that crossed over the top of the road. As you look at the old OS maps, you can see a bridge would have gone over here onto an embankment down on towards Pontefract Road. So that's looking to the other side of the track bed. So we're now going to head on to where we'd have gone into I believe it was a cutting. Now it might not look like that as it looks now. So this is a converted pathway onto the track bed, but if we go up here now, you can see it's full of vegetation, and a lot of the track bed you can see how it slopes up, but I do believe it was an embankment going into a cutting. So you can see down there's just a little gap where the embankment is, and as we head on towards Pontefract Road, you can see how it turned into a cutting. Now down there, you look like you've got a fence that's made out of old railway fence, old railway sleepers. You can just see down there, the wooden. I will zoom it in so that you can get a better look. So this is the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley. You can see part of it's overgrown. I mean, look how much earth has been pumped in to what was actually a cutting now. So we're actually heading to what was a cutting, and then obviously they've tarmacked it over. I'm unsure when they did this, but would have been probably a lot lower level as we head towards Pontefract Road. Now you can see a dip in the ground just here. Looks like it potentially would have been for drainage, but I think what you're looking at is where the track bed has been filled in. So that is the top of the cutting. All this is just literally landfill that's converted the railway into this path. I mean, look how high up it goes, so it must have taken absolutely loads of spoil. I mean, there's a view of the track bed looking back. Oh, look at that smoke up there. You can see how high up and how low down it was. Now we're going towards Pontefract Lane. You can see how much it rises more. You can see how much the track bed widens out, and it goes to probably its highest point of the landfill. So just in the corner is where you can see where the cutting, the top of the cutting would have been. I'm just going to take you a bit further in. So we've got a few fence posts that show the indication of the railway. So here is the marking of the cutting here, and there's your railway fence posts. You can see one just under that tree and a few that carry on along the top of the cutting. So this is where we're walking on the Hull and Barnsley track bed, which would have been probably about another 30-40 feet below where we're walking, because we're going to come to this bridge now at Pontefract Road, which will show you how deep this cutting would have been. There's where we've just been. So here we are walking down towards the bridge. Still going down. And here's a look at the bridge. That carries Pontefract Road. Now, I am not sure if this is the original bridge. So you can see clearly here you've got the old school red brick with the copings on the top. Now this to me looks like it's more modernised brick. I can see these concrete reinforcement here. Got a lot of graffiti. And could you call this a tunnel? Got here what looks like an old drainage channel. And an old post there, and I believe that's just a transpennine post. It's more recent, you can see the sticker on there. And it looks like just at the bottom we've got a few salvaged railway sleepers that have been salvaged to make part of a retaining wall. You can see they're all chewed up. That's looking back at the bridge. Again, you've got that old looking original wing wall just there. There's a bit of a crack with some graffiti on. Now do tell me if you do know if they did build this as a reinforced bridge as part of the part of Pontefract Road. Could be original, but I'm not sure. It does look different, looks more modern because you can see the decay. And then the wing wall runs all the way down here to support the road, because you can see how the road goes in that direction. So I wonder if this is here to support the road. So now we're in to a cutting. Looks like we've got a filled in culvert or drainage culvert. You can just see the top of the arch. I'm not going to go down there because you just don't know what's going to be down there. But it's all blocked up, but you can just see the top of the arch. I'm not sure if you can just make it out, built out of red brick. So I wonder if this was some old drainage channel or maybe just a stream that normally runs under here. It's quite dry at the moment, so I'm not sure if it would be running. But if we go to the other side, there you go, you can see the other side of it. It's actually bricked. Oh no, it's not bricked up. It's you can just see a bit of damage in the corner. And yeah, I believe it was an old drainage channel. Clearly see it's not in operation anymore. It runs down the side of the track bed. We're going to continue on now towards Burton Lane. So this is the route of the track bed. Again, I believe we were in a cutting here. The track bed would have ran more to this side. We've got a gas pipe that runs along the side of the other side of the track bed. So we're going to follow the route on now towards Burton Lane. Now it looks like, well, I've come across a bridge when I was scoping before. Now we've come across here an overbridge that goes over a stream. It looks like a bit of a, well, it's not farmer's access, it just looks like a culvert. Now I can't get down there because it's too, it might look like I can, so Pete, don't be disappointed with me if I can't go in there, and I haven't brought my torch. But you can see here how damaged the top of the arch is. Old school red brick, 3 bricks on the outside. But I'm not wearing the footwear to go in there, and it's really muggy and dirty. But here you can see on the outside the damaged brick clearly eroding. More up there. Now this footpath actually carries on past the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley. So we're not actually on the track bed, it's actually more in where those trees are. And it's going to take us to a filled-in bridge. So this is the footpath. There is a little footpath that goes onto the track bed, and I'll just give you a little glimpse of where we're at and how the track bed looks. Now basically it's just trees and a dumping ground, but this is the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley that continues onto Burton Lane. Now I can't promise I'm going to be able to show you much of it, but here is where a bridge has been filled in. So here you can see the track bed was here, and the bridge would have been here, all filled in, going underneath Burton Lane. So that is where the bridge, you can see it's clearly been demolished. So there's no evidence and no signs of the bridge. However, we are on the other side of Burton Lane, and here you can clearly see we've got the remains of where the bridge would have continued underneath here, and the Hull and Barnsley has obviously been now lost to some sort of industrial unit. But you've got here the old red brick, and these stones on the top. Don't know if you can just make out down there, you've got some old fence posts that are blocking where the bridge was. You can probably just make out down there where the bridge has been filled in with red brick. So pretty much the track bed is lost between here going towards the Carlton, or near the old Carlton main colliery. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pick up the rest of the track bed between here and Cudworth North Junction. So following on from Burton Lane, I'm currently on an embankment in Carlton, so still following the track bed of the Hull and Barnsley. I'm not sure what I'm going to find. It's obviously all overgrown, but it does take you towards where there was a bridge that crossed over the Midland Railway. So I'll just walk through here, see if I can see anything. Whoa. So yeah, it's pretty much just all overgrown, and this path has actually taken me off the side of the track bed. So I'm not going to go any further, but I am going to show this farmer's access bridge, which is just down here. So this is an embankment, and it comes towards a farmer's access bridge. So clearly red brick in typical Hull and Barnsley fashion. It's got a bit of decay at the bottom. You can just see there where the loose bricks are. See that one there? And if we walk underneath the bridge, you can see a bit of movement there. It's a load of graffiti. We'll just take a walk to the other side. And there's a look at the bridge. Now, just looks like we've got some kind of pipe system there, so like a bit of a drainage, sorry. Don't know if you can just make it out. Now you can see the wing walls got a crack just in the corner. So how long this bridge is going to last, I don't know. And I can guess when it gets really wet that this can cause this structure to decay. And I guess lack of maintenance is going to cause this to probably either collapse one day. Now you can see where the track bed carried on across towards an embankment. That overgrown embankment that I was stood on before. So this is a footpath, still part of the Transpennine Trail, that goes alongside. And it comes towards an abutment of a bridge that used to cross over the Midland Railway towards Cudworth North Junction, which I did show you in a previous video on the Midland Railway. So here's the bridge of the Hull and Barnsley going over the top of the Midland Railway, which I pointed out in that Midland Railway video. And it would have taken you towards Cudworth North Junction, where the branch connected with the Cudworth branch onto the main 66-mile route towards the Alexandra docks. Just behind those trees there is the site of the Carlton main colliery, which I pointed out in the Midland Railway. We actually went onto the site and found a lot of remains.
This is the line of trees that you can see that's just on the outside of the Carlton main colliery that would have been located on the left. You can just see the Midland Railway that crosses between the centre screen where a bridge crossed over the top on towards the Cudworth North Junction.
To the top left, where you can just see in the grassed area, you can see the area where the Cudworth North sidings would have been located. And just here is where the connection at the Cudworth North Junction would have connected with the branch towards Cudworth. Hope you all enjoyed that episode on the Stairfoot branch of the Hull and Barnsley Railway. If you haven't seen part one, going from Cudworth towards Shafton, please do give that one a watch. I will leave a link in the description below. So this is actually part 2 of that series. So part 3, we're actually going to continue where we finished off in part 1, which was from Sandybridge Lane, and we're going to hopefully go towards Brierley Tunnel. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. Take care, and we'll see you for the next part. Bye bye.